You know that feeling, don't you? That quiet, heavy exhaustion at the end of the day that has nothing to do with what you've actually done. It's the exhaustion that comes from the full-time job of trying to be a better version of yourself. It's the weight of the invisible war you've been fighting since you woke up. A war against your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own impulses. You said the wrong thing in a meeting, and you've spent the last 4 hours replaying it, cringing. You ate a piece of cake you shouldn't have, and the inner judge has been holding court ever since. You felt a flash of jealousy when a friend shared good news, and immediately a wave of shame washed over you for being so unenlightened, so human. This battle is so constant, so familiar, that for most of us, it's just the background noise of life. We think this is what it means to be conscious, to be self-aware. We believe this internal conflict is the price of admission for being a good person. But what if it's not? What if this entire war is based on a profound misunderstanding of the rules of the game? We seem to be caught in a strange paradox. The harder you try to be perfect, the more flawed you feel. The more you chase some idealized version of a calm, loving, spiritual being, the more you notice your own anger, your own pettiness, your own needs. It's like trying to make a room perfectly silent. The harder you listen for silence, the more you hear the hum of the refrigerator, the creak of the floorboards, the sound of your own breathing. Your very effort to eliminate the noise makes the noise louder. Why does this happen? Is it a sign that we are failing? That we just need to try even harder? No. It's a sign that our entire approach is wrong. It's a clue, a message from the very architecture of how things work, telling us we're pushing against a door that was designed to be pulled. For generations, we've been handed a story that you are a project to be completed, that your humanity, with its messy emotions, its contradictions, its vulnerabilities, is a problem to be solved. A rough draft that needs to be edited and polished until it's perfect. We've been told in 1,000 different ways that the goal is to transcend this messy human experience, to rise above it, to become something purer, cleaner, better. So we go to war. We declare certain parts of ourselves unacceptable. Anger is bad. Fear is weak. Sadness is unproductive. We try to surgically remove these parts of our own nature, believing that if we can just get rid of the bad stuff, only the good stuff will remain. But reality doesn't work that way. It's not built on subtraction. It's built on inclusion. Everything is connected. This rejection of your own humanness isn't a personal flaw. It's not something you came up with. It's an outdated piece of programming, a collective belief that we've all inherited. It's like a computer running on ancient software that was never designed for the world we live in now. This belief whispers that you are fundamentally broken and must be fixed. And because you believe it, you spend all your energy trying to fix yourself, which only reinforces the belief that you are broken. It's a perfect, self-sustaining loop of suffering. Think about it. It's like a magnificent ancient tree being told that its roots are a problem, that they are too dark, too tangled, too stuck in the dirt. It's told that to be a truly great tree, it must sever itself from those roots and become only its beautiful leaves and high branches, reaching for the sun. What would happen to that tree? It would die. It would lose its grounding, its stability, its source of water and nutrients. It would become a hollow, brittle thing, easily knocked over by the first strong wind. Those roots, the messy, hidden, unclean part, were its very source of life. They were never the problem. The problem was the belief that they were a problem. We are that tree. Our humanity, in all its messy glory, is our root system. Our anger is the root that pushes through hard soil to find what it needs. Our sadness is the root that draws up the water of past experiences. Our fear is the root that tests the ground, making sure it's stable. To declare war on these parts of yourself is to declare war on your own life force. It's an attempt to live as only the leaves, pretending you don't need the dirt. But the beauty, the strength, and the very essence of the tree comes from the fact that it connects the dark, hidden earth with the bright, open sky. It doesn't choose one over the other. It is the connection between them. The constant feeling of not being good enough is the ache of a tree that has been taught to be ashamed of its own roots. It's the symptom of a deep disconnection from the whole design. When you get frustrated with yourself for not being more patient in a traffic jam, or for feeling a pang of insecurity when scrolling through social media, you are simply a tree scolding its roots for being in the ground. You are judging a part of your nature for doing exactly what it was designed to do. This isn't about letting yourself off the hook or abandoning growth. It's about realizing that true growth doesn't come from amputating parts of yourself. It comes from finally accepting the whole design, understanding how all the parts work together, and learning to draw strength from the very places you were taught to feel shame. This isn't just a nice idea. It points to a fundamental shift in how we can participate in our own lives. A shift from a state of constant, exhausting internal warfare to a state of curiosity and acceptance. The transformation begins when we stop asking, "How can I fix this part of me?" and start asking, "What is this part of me trying to do? What is its purpose in the whole design?" This question changes everything. It stops the war, and in that quiet space, for the first time, you can begin to see the incredible, intricate beauty of what it actually means to be fully, unapologetically human. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. So, the war stops. What happens in that silence? The first thing you notice is how much energy you were spending. It's like you've been holding a heavy weight above your head for years, and you suddenly realize you can just put it down. The relief is immense. But then, a new question arises. If I'm not fighting my nature, what am I supposed to do with it? And the answer is the beginning of a completely new way of living. You simply begin to watch it. You shift from being the soldier in the battle to being the observer on the hill, watching the weather patterns of your own inner world roll by. When a cloud of anger forms on the horizon, you don't try to shoot it down. You just notice it. You say, "Ah, anger is here." You get curious about its shape, its color, its texture. What triggered it? Where do you feel it in your body? You treat it not as an enemy intruder, but as a natural phenomenon, as valid as a rainstorm or a burst of sunlight. This isn't about being passive or detached. It's the opposite. It's about becoming profoundly intimate with yourself. You start to see that your pettiness, your needs, your mistakes are not evidence of your failure. They are expressions of life itself moving through a uniquely human form. Life wants to experience everything. It wants to know the sting of jealousy, the ache of loneliness, the sharp edge of frustration. These aren't bugs in the design. They are features. We have this strange idea that the divine, or consciousness, or whatever you want to call it, exists somewhere pure and separate from our messy lives. We think our humanness is an obstacle we have to overcome to get to it. But what if that's completely backward? What if your humanness is the very place that consciousness chose to experience reality? Imagine a master gardener. Would the gardener be disgusted by the soil? By the manure? By the decaying leaves? Of course not. The gardener understands that this is the very stuff that creates life. The mess, the darkness, the decomposition. This is the fertile ground required for anything real and beautiful to grow. Your humanity is that fertile ground. Your darkest moods, your most unspiritual thoughts, your deepest wounds. That is the rich, nutrient-dense soil of your being. To reject it, to try and pave it over with sterile positivity, is to starve yourself of the very nutrients you need to grow. Every time you allow yourself to feel your sadness without judging it, you are watering the soil. Every time you acknowledge your fear without shaming yourself, you are tending to the roots. You are cooperating with the architecture of life, not fighting against it. This acceptance changes everything, practically. Think of all the energy you've spent beating yourself up, analyzing your flaws, regretting your past actions, and worrying about your future ones. It's a massive, constant drain on your life force. When you stop fighting, all of that energy is returned to you. It's not about becoming lazy or undisciplined. It's about reclaiming your power. Suddenly, you have the energy to be present with your family. You have the creative spark to work on that project you've been putting off. You have the clarity to make a difficult decision. You are no longer wasting your fuel on an internal civil war. You are using it to live. When you feel yourself procrastinating, instead of adding a layer of shame, you can ask, what is this resistance protecting me from? What am I actually afraid of right now? The procrastination becomes a messenger, not a monster. When you feel a surge of neediness, a longing for someone else's approval, you can see it not as a weakness, but as a simple, human signal pointing to a place inside you that needs your own love and attention. You stop trying to become some flawless, idealized saint and instead embrace the art of being a complete human. This is a much more beautiful and courageous path. It means you can be both strong and vulnerable. You can be wise and also make foolish mistakes. You can be generous and at times selfish. You are no longer trying to live up to an impossible standard. You are simply living. The contradictions are no longer a source of conflict. They are proof of your wholeness. It's like looking at a diamond. Its beauty doesn't come from being a smooth, uniform piece of glass. It comes from its facets, the different angles that catch and refract the light in 1,000 different ways. Your flaws, your quirks, your shadows. These are your facets. They are what give you depth, character, and the unique ability to reflect the light of life in a way that no one else can. The true transformation isn't about changing who you are. It's about finally, fully inhabiting who you've always been. It's the realization that you were never broken. You were just a tree that was taught to be ashamed of its own roots. The beauty is not in escaping your humanness, but in daring to embrace it all. To stand firm in the dirt and the mess and the tangled complexities of your own heart, and to recognize that this, all of this, is sacred ground. It's the very foundation of your being, the place from which everything you will ever be, do, or create will grow. It is the beginning and the end of your search. If this video changed something in you, time those 2.8. Write in the comments, I am the ground of my own being. Write it as your promise. Nobody